Okay, today we're going to be in Genesis chapter 9 that speaks to humanity's rebirth and God's promise after the great flood. Now imagine this scene after the floodwaters recede and nature begins to reclaim the earth. Now Noah and his sons, well, they stand on dry ground and they're ready to start anew. It's a fresh beginning for all of humanity, every living being. Now God approaches Noah and his family with a special blessing, a heartfelt message that resonates through the generations. He tells Noah and his sons to prosper, multiply, and fill the earth. Now this commandment is exciting, as it sets the stage for a new chapter in Earth's history. Genesis empowers them with a sense of purpose, reminding them that they have dominion over all the creatures, birds, land animals, and even the fish in the sea. They have the responsibility to tend to the earth and manage its inhabitants. But don't just gloss over this point. God instructs them about the sacredness of life. All life, not just human. And they can eat meat of animals, but they must not consume meat with life blood still in it. God emphasizes that it's not just humans that are held accountable for the lives that they take, but all creatures fall under the divine regulation. God makes a profound statement about human life, stating, "Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed." Now this concept reflects the weight and the value of human life, as every person is made in the image of God. With this declaration, God establishes a moral framework for humanity to follow, one that underlines respect for life in all its forms. As God continues speaking, he reassures Noah by forming a covenant, a special promise. And he tells Noah that he will never again unleash the kind of flood that would wipe out all living things on the earth. Now, this is significant because it reveals God's mercy and his commitment to his creation. But get this, it's not just with Noah, but it extends to his descendants and all the creatures on all the earth. And it's an everlasting promise. Then God reveals a beautiful rainbow. He tells Noah, well, that's a symbol for all generations. When storm clouds gather and the rainbow appears, this is a reminder of this promise that God will never again destroy life within a flood. The rainbow becomes a lasting emblem of hope, renewal, and God's unwavering commitment. Now remember in Genesis 8:21, the Lord said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans," even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood. "And never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done." Now what's striking about this statement is how it emphasizes the relationship between God and humanity and our responsibility to love and trust in him. God empowers humanity with the stewardship of the earth, demonstrating his desire to nourish and protect the world. And at the same time, he sets clear guidance to respect all life, a notion that rings true even in modern times. Still, God already knows of man's evil nature, and he's already formed his plan to save us. Now let's get back to that second half of Genesis 9 in verses 18 through 29. Now after the great flood, Noah and his family finally step out of the ark, and he had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, who's the father of Canaan, and Japheth. Now each of these brothers is believed to be the patriarch of different nations scattered across the globe. Talk about a family with worldwide impact. Now once on dry land, Noah plants a vineyard and he makes wine. He samples his own creation a bit too enthusiastically. Yeah, you guessed it. He ended up getting snockered. He lost his way and his clothes, all well in the privacy of his own tent. But here's where the story gets a little juicy. Ham, the youngest son, well, he stumbles upon his father in this less than dignified state. But instead of handling the situation with a little respect and some decorum, well, he can't wait to be a big old tattletale, and he shares the news with his brothers, Shem and Japheth. Upon hearing about this, well, they decide to take the high road, and they grab a garment and walk backward into their cover's tent to cover him, making sure that they don't see him inappropriately displaying his birthday suit. Hey, good job, fellas. Okay, now when Noah finally wakes up, he learns what Ham did. Let's just say that Noah wasn't pleased, and in a moment of anger, or perhaps prophetic vision, he curses Canaan, Ham's youngest son, declaring that he would become a servant to his brothers and he would be the lowest of slaves. Now, this proclamation is heavy in implications. Noah goes on to bless Shem and Japheth, speaking of their territories and their futures, while asserting that Canaan, he would serve them. It's kind of a power shuffle within the family, with deep cultural and historic ramifications. For generations to come, will the family line of Shem and Japheth come to represent honor and righteous living, while the line of Canaan, the Canaanites, well, they're wicked, dishonest, and just plain evil. As we wrap this up, let's consider a couple of things. Think back to Noah and his sons, filled with excitement stepping into this new world, and what it must have felt like to hold that divine promise from God, knowing every storm in life would bring the hope of a rainbow. Now, wouldn't that feeling of assurance that God is committed to protecting life spark a sense of courage and motivation? And let's not forget the mix of humanity. Noah, a righteous man, having a very human moment, reminds us that even those that seem wise and righteous have their flaws. Yeah, don't we all? For us today, right now, this narrative serves as a reminder that God expects us to care for each other and the world around us. But how often do we even consider the impact of our actions, both large and small? So look, at Genesis 9 isn't about just renewal and resurrection, but also the importance of living in harmony with each other and nature. It encourages us to honor our commitments, especially to God, and to seek understanding and peace. So let Noah's story remind us of the promises both made by God and those we make with ourselves and with each other. Now, next week, we'll tackle Genesis chapter 10. Till then, you keep this in mind: God's ultimate plan for our salvation. The Son of God became the Son of Man, so that the sons of men could become the sons of God.